Welcome. We're doing a quick preview session tonight for NSA Northwest with Laura Leist, and she's given us a sneak peek into what her presentation is going to be like on Friday. I don't have the date in front of me. April 15th?
15th.
Awesome. April 15th. You'll probably hear my Chief Bark Officer and my Chief Rule Enforcer in the background. They're commentary, so just work with it. I'm Mel DePoli, the chapter president, and this is Laura Leist. You want to give a quick intro on who you are and how amazing you are, even though I'll add that in a little bit later too.
Thanks, Mel. So I'm Laura Leist, and I'm the owner of Eliminate Chaos, a productivity and organizing consulting firm based just outside of Seattle.
Awesome. So I got a few questions I'm going to ask you tonight, and I want to know more about you, what you do, and how you got started. So we were talking before we hit the record button about organizing your office, and there's a lot of stuff. If I were to take that camera and move it around, you'd be like, oh my God, Mel.
No, I'm not here to work this evening. I don't care what it looks like.
So how did you get started, and how do you determine what your clients' needs are?
Yeah, so interestingly enough, I started this company 17 years ago, which is hard to believe. And originally, what I really wanted to do was get away from my background, which was in IT and computers. And I started a company to help people get more organized in home and their home offices, and that led us down the path of me getting right back into computers.
Isn't that amazing how that happens?
It was really amazing. And here's kind of what happened. I was in a home office of someone back in 2000, and I saw her Palm Pilot up in the top of her closet. And I asked her what it was. And she said, well, it's a Palm Pilot. Well, of course I knew that, but what I was really wondering was why the box was still shrink wrapped and why it had dust all over it. And she said, well, I don't know how to set it up. And she was running a very successful small business from home, but she didn't really know how to do any of this technology stuff. And so I said, well, today's your lucky day. We're going to get it out of the box. We're going to open it up, and we're going to get it hooked up and get your data connected. And as I'm crawling around under her desk, she's asking me, how do I know how to do this? And I said, well, don't worry about how I know how to do this. Just trust that I know how to do this. So of course she didn't know that I had spent over a decade doing IT work. And so I got it done. And then about a year later, she took me back into her company. And I started doing a lot of business process work, more work with data. And I thought, there are a lot of really successful small businesses where people are running a business from home and they don't know how to do some of this work with the technology. And so I thought, I need to focus there because this is a skill set that I can have and really help people with. So that's a little bit about how I got started.
That's awesome. So rumor has it that you have the nickname of Queen of Outlook. How did you get that?
Well, back in about 2002 at our annual NAPO conference, I was asked to give a pre-conference session the following year on Outlook. And so I made them buy a book that I could teach from. And then the class went really well. And then the next year they said, we want you to do this again. We don't have any money for books. We need you to make your own handout. So I made a 60-page handout for this class. And the class went really well. And word got around conference that I had this really great handout and could I get a copy? And so I thought, aha, opportunity. I'm going to turn that handout into a book and make some money off of it. And so now about 8 books later, I've done a book for every single version of Microsoft Outlook since 2002. And the 2007 version, I had 3 different books. So there's a lot of Outlook books that I've written. And so at NAPO, they started calling me the Queen of Outlook, and anytime anyone had an issue with Outlook, they said, just call Laura. that's how that happened.
Very cool. And just to clarify for those listening in, NAPO is the National Association of Professional Organizers.
Correct.
Okay. So I personally am extremely excited for you to present on Friday. This has been a session that I've been looking forward to for months, especially as I'm reworking my business and setting up new processes. And I've been waiting so I can make sure that I set things up correctly. What are some of the biggest challenges that you see with your clients?
Yeah. So with email in particular, most of my clients are small business clients or work for a major corporation. So I sit alongside a lot of my clients and I literally look at their Outlook. I might be sitting next to them and I might be doing the work virtually. So I can see exactly what's going on in their Outlook. I can also see that little number in the lower left-hand corner of their inbox that shows me how many emails are in their inbox, which they will happily tell me that they can use the search function and get to whatever they need. But the reality of it is that they miss stuff and they miss deadlines and they just hang on to way too much in the inbox, that is. And so it used to be several years ago where the all-time record was about 20,000 emails in the inbox. 20,000. Okay, just wait. So we are now up to over 100,000 emails in an inbox.
No.
Yes. And so, yeah, so that's one problem. And I'll tell you why that problem exists is because people don't have a good system for processing the email. Now, it's pretty simple to make folders in your inbox for filing email away, the email that you need to keep or project-typed email. But the thing is that what it really requires is having a great structure and knowing how to put that structure in place so that you're not scrolling up and down through a very long list of emails to look for or email folders to look for the correct list. And that's the problem where a lot of people waste a lot of time. So not having a good structure, number one. So we're going to talk about that a little bit at NSA. And then the other thing that we're going to talk about is how you can use some quick steps to actually file things away in the folders automatically without having to expand your folders or search for the folder. So that could potentially save people a lot of time. The second thing that I think people really struggle with email is they write this amazing email and they put it in a drafts folder and then they you're laughing.
I'm laughing because I do this.
Everybody does. And so there's a much better way to handle this, and it's by using email templates. And it sounds complicated, but it's really so easy. And so that's another one where I find that people are spending so much time going into their search folder or going into their sent file and looking for email that they can, copy and paste and then paste into a new email. So I'm going to show everyone how to make their own email templates and just how easy it is. And I've actually taken some examples, yours being one of them, and fine-tuned it just a tad.
Awesome.
To make it look really great. And you're also going to notice that I changed your links. So the links will still work, but you won't see that really long link anymore. What you're going to see instead is just a name of something that's hyperlinked. And so if you hover over it, you'll actually see the full, long, ugly looking link.
Okay.
That people copy and paste, if that makes sense. So I've just modified it a little bit. And so I want to show people not only like how you can do these email templates, but also just how easy it is to insert a hyperlink. And then the third thing that we're going to talk about with email is just how people do follow-up. So instead of, again, doing a search, digging through the sent box, making sure that you're getting information back to people on a timely basis, I'm going to show everyone a technique using the flagging system that will allow people to never miss an important deadline again on email. So for example, let's say that you send a proposal out to a meeting planner and you want to ensure that they receive the proposal, but they never got back to you. And you want to make sure that you don't forget to check in just to make sure that they got that message. So there's a really simple way that you can set a reminder using a flag on that email to have it pop back into your inbox so that you don't have to go to your sent file anymore. So I'm going to demonstrate that technique as well. It'll be, it's cool when you see it. So those are kind of some of the three big things that I see is people just don't have a good follow-up system in place for email.
I've also discovered, at least for me with following up, pre-scheduling emails that I know need to go out.
Yes.
I don't want to have to worry about the reminder. I'll do them ahead of time and I'll tell Outlook, do not send until this date and time.
Yes. So you're using the delayed delivery?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I may have gotten a couple of those from you.
Yes, you have.
I was wondering about that.
Yes, that has become my best friend. It is also great for people who you don't want them to know that you're working at odd hours.
Exactly.
So you delay it and you send it out at a normal business time, and then that way the calls stop.
Yep, I know, I'm here. I do the same thing from time to time.
Are you going to talk about tasks at all?
Tasks. I haven't planned to. Did you have a specific question about those?
Not a specific one, no. I know when I use them, they're helpful, but at the same time, at least for me and in organizing my day and what needs done, I've actually found creating meetings on my calendar to be more effective because the meetings annoy me more. They yell at me through my phone, they yell at me on the computer, and every time I turn around, they yell at me, where tasks just say, hey, we're here, and then they go away.
So when you put those appointments on your calendar, are you putting them up at the top in the all-day event area or actually scheduling them at a specific time?
I'm scheduling them at a specific time.
Okay, so actually there's even a different way that you could do that is if you open up a meeting appointment, you'll see a checkbox that says all-day event.
Yes.
And if you click that box, it'll put your little meeting up at the top of your Outlook in the solid bar area. Mm-hmm. So you're not actually scheduling something for when, like, let's just say that you need to call someone on a certain day, but it doesn't matter if you call them at that specific time. Mm-hmm. You just put it up at the top of your calendar instead, and then you can just drag it forward to the next day if you didn't get around to it. So I have a lot of my clients do that don't like the task system, because here's the challenge that I see with tasks for a lot of my clients is that they enter in all the tasks and they have really great intentions, but at the end of the day, we know that everyone gets busy, and so they stop looking at the tasks. And if you don't have your Outlook configured in such a way that you can see the tasks, normally you're only going to be in probably your calendar and email during the day, so that's a lot of times why tasks get overlooked.
Right.
The reason is that if you set a due date for your tasks, you're going to wind up with a lot of red tasks, meaning that they're overdue.
Yes.
You've got a list this long of tasks that are overdue. So there's ways that you can categorize your tasks by, type of project that you're working on, or, maybe a really big project and you break it down into segments. So you can sometimes set up categories to help you manage your tasks better. But there's lots of different ways that you can handle it. And sometimes you can even use a third-party task management system. I don't like the way the one in Microsoft Outlook works.
So on Friday, I know you're also going to be talking about CRMs. What are they and how can I use them in my business?
Yeah, so we are going to talk about customer relationship management systems. So CRM stands for. And I am a believer that no matter how small or large your business is, everybody should be using one. And there are so many on the market. In fact, I was just reading an article this weekend about the best CRMs, and it's just frightening how many are out there. and that's why I think it's really hard for people to figure out like which is the right CRM for them. There's just a lot of factors that go into choosing one. And so we're going to talk a lot about that on Friday. But a CRM really helps you track all your client interactions. So it's not just an address book. It's a place where you can store all of that contact info. But most CRMs are going to allow you to customize. So you can customize your CRM to track specific things that you do with your clients. And it's also going to be a place that you can track all of your leads, all of your opportunities, track potential revenue, set follow-up, do the social networking interaction. There's a lot of different things that it allows you to do. The other thing is that it allows you to slice and dice your data into reports that can be very effective in making some good business decisions for your company. So for example, in our database, we have a field that's called source, and that field is customizable. And so I can put into that field all of the different ways that our clients find us. And then at the end of the year, I can run a report based on that one field that I've customized, and I can decide if certain types of advertising or marketing or networking has been a good business investment. And then I can use that for my strategic planning for the following year. So that's just one of the small things that you can do with the CRM, but we'll get into a little bit more detail on Friday.
I'm really looking forward to that. I know I am so guilty of that. I know I need one. I've tried using them. It's about how to make it a habit for me and how to think about the building it into my system. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Great.
So when you wrote your book, Eliminate the Chaos at Work, 25 Techniques to Increase Productivity, how did you decide what content you were going to put in there?
Yeah, that's a good question. This is really how it happened. There have been so many times over the years when people have called our office and said, I need to get my office organized. And I don't know what that means. And because there's so many different areas of the office that can be organized. And because people were really having a difficult time articulating that, I broke it down into 5 areas. So now when someone calls, I say, okay, great. I'm going to list the 5 areas that we organize and make you more productive in, and then you're going to tell me of that list what we're gonna focus on. So those 5 areas are the stuff management.
You realize that Patricia Fripp is rolling over right now.
Why?
You keep saying stuff.
Oh, stuff. So I define stuff as like just all the stuff that's in your office. So there's paper management, there's information management, there's time management, there's stuff management. So that's anything that's not like your furniture or paper. And then there's just the general layout of your office. And so when the publisher asked me to write the book, they didn't really know the content that they wanted either. So I literally pitched them a book on Microsoft Outlook, which they declined. And I thought, well, there's got to be a way that I can work some of this stuff into the book. So my proposal back to them was, let's focus on 4 of the 5 areas that we work with on clients. So the book is divided into 4 sections. So that being paper management, stuff management, electronic information management, and time management. And then interestingly enough, the editor said to me as she was reading the chapters, wow, that Outlook stuff is really good. We probably should have had you write a book on that. Go figure. So anyway, that's kind of how that book came to be. And it was actually published now, it's been, 5 or 6 years maybe already. I think it came out in 2010 or 11. And so, a lot of technology has changed since then, because every now and then someone will call our office and they'll say, I read your book and, this version of Outlook, I'm trying to do this, or this doesn't exist anymore. And it's like, that's the problem when you write about technology.
Oh, yeah.
That it changes. And so, but the concepts, I think, still really apply. I mean, I just heard from someone yesterday who said, oh, I read your book and it's helped me so much at work. And I love hearing that, because even if you don't use all of the 25 techniques, maybe use 5 or 7 and that's all you need, but that really helps. So it's one of those books where you don't have to read the whole book. You can just pick a section or pick a chapter and go from there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I am looking at the time and we are at 7:21. What is a final tip / teaser related to something about technology that you're going to talk more about on Friday?
A teaser. Well, I have kind of a personal story.
Sure.
That I'm not going to share here.
Of course not.
And it does relate to technology, and why I always tell people that they need to back up their computers. And I don't say that just because you should. I back it up because I have a very personal story which will literally blow people's minds. And hopefully I can weave this story into some of the examples that I'm doing to make it really real for people. So there you have it. That's my teaser.
That's a pretty big teaser, especially since I think it was about 2 years after I had moved to Seattle. I forget the details of what happened now, but something had happened to my business equipment. And at that time, we had a server in our office still, and we were not sure if we lost everything.
Yeah.
And we had about a whole day where we were trying to figure out if we could save anything and if it was going to happen, if it was not going to happen. And it was like, okay, this could seriously put me out of business.
Yeah. And you know what? That's what people don't think about. I can't tell you how many people's offices I walk into and I ask them when was the last time they backed up their computer, and they can't tell me. Or they don't have a backup. And, I could read you probably some pretty frightening statistics on how many laptops get stolen at the airport every day. And if that's your only data, then your business is gone. Like, how are you going to recreate your financials? You
can't.
I mean, your business is just kind of down the tubes if you don't have it backed up. I mean, your data in these today is so important. And my situation happened back in 2001. And so if you think about it, those were the days where we didn't have cloud backup. So it wasn't as easy. You had to do everything manually. And a lot of people actually still back computers up that way. And I say why? Because you have to remember first and foremost to do it. And it takes your time, when you could just have the peace of mind for about, $50 a year in some instances, where you just set it and forget about it. And you never have to worry. I mean, it's foolish not to invest in that for your business. So, yeah. So anyway.
Alrighty. Well, thank you, Laura. Just real quick, Laura will be presenting at NSA Northwest Friday, April 15th from 1 till 4 in the afternoon at Mercer Island Community Center. If you've not signed up, I highly recommend you sign up. The link will be below this video. So I hope to see you there. Thanks, Laura.
Thanks, Mel.